For as long as we may be able to remember, the guys in the world of AI and perhaps robotics have been hoping for that day that they would finally be able to achieve artificial general intelligence. Also known as AGI, this term refers to the hypothetical intelligence of a machine that had the ability to understand or learn any intellectual task just like any human being. In fact, there are those that believe that this AGI would one day have the ability to surpass human intelligence. That said, we are still yet to even achieve the creation of this AGI, with those at companies such as OpenAI and Meta dedicating a good chunk of their resources to achieving AGI, as this is their primary goal. It must be something of a daunting task, especially when the experts in the field have predicted that it could take anything between years, decades, or centuries for AGI to be achieved. There are even others who have claimed that this is just the dream of an optimistic bunch that just don't want to accept that the achievement of AGI will never be achieved. Well, those guys may be shocked when they see the title to our video because this is no joke. Recently, Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, just published what could prove to be a massive essay that was titled Machines of Loving Grace: How AI Could Transform the World for the Better. Readers were enthralled with what Amodei had to say about how he believed AGI superintelligence could transform the next 100 years. What's interesting about the essay is that it didn't seem to focus on the things that others normally focus on when they are talking about this kind of thing. The readers found that rather than over-focusing on the risks of the development of AI, he tried to show the world how good the world can get if we are able to achieve AGI. What could such a future look like? Let's find out. From the beginning of the essay, the reader will find that while he is trying to predict the future, he has acknowledged that he is really just guessing about the upsides of what may happen in the future if we are able to achieve AGI. As such, the accuracy could vary by a slight margin or by a wide margin. With that in mind, he has used the chance that the list of applications for AI in the world today is very long, and as such, he could only focus on a small number of things that he believed that AI could directly improve the quality of human life. These are biology and health, neuroscience and mental health, economic development and poverty, peace and governance, as well as work and meaning, biology and health. According to Amodei's essay, biology and health may be the first area where we may find that scientific progress has the greatest potential to directly and unambiguously improve the quality of human life. That is amazing to consider, especially when you consider the level of scientific progress in medicine in the last century or so. That said, while medical science has done a great job in eradicating these diseases and maladies over the centuries, there are still many more diseases that afflict humans to this day. Aside from being used to conquer disease, people like Amodei have recognized that AGI could also improve biology and health beyond the areas of curing diseases. They could also be used to improve the baseline quality of a person's health in several ways, benefit by extending the person's lifespan, increasing control and freedom of our own biological process, and even addressing everyday problems that we currently think of as immutable parts of the human condition. As such, he believes that AGI may be able to create these improvements by helping out with the experiments that are being carried out in the biology and health industries. It would at least help them deal with the limitations on the experiments that they may carry out on different subjects, be it cells, animals. Already the work we can do with such subjects as well as the chemical process involved in such experiments are limited by the speed of the physical world. For example, there are many biological protocols and experiments that involve the culturing of bacteria or other organisms. This and similar experiments take weeks or months, using up time that we may not have. There is also a problem with the quality of the data that is collected within this time. If AGI is developed properly, we may be able to solve such problems. Neuroscience and mental health. Turns out that AI may be able to help us deal with physical disease that plague us, as well as the mental maladies that may haunt the mind. As this is a big problem for humans, it makes sense that AI may be used to help all these people suffering from their mental health issues, be it depression, schizophrenia, low-functioning PTSD, and so on. With that in mind, the essays state that Amodei expects AI to accelerate the neuroscientific progress in 4 distinct rounds, in a bid to cure mental illness and improve functions. The first of these 4 routes are traditional molecular biology, chemistry, and genetic, It can improve this field by accelerating the time needed to carry out the experiments in this field. Next, it can improve fine-grained neural measurement and intervention. This is important because this refers to the ability to measure what many people's neural or neuronal circuits are doing. Once that is done, then it may be able to intervene so that we can alter their behavior. If AI is applied to the third and fourth of these routes, which are advanced computational neuroscience and behavioral interventions, we can see how AI may be able to directly improve the general level of mental health in the future. Economic development and poverty. This is the third way in which AI may have a great impact in the future. Looking at the current state of economics and finances in the world today, it might be the much-needed tool that would help us close the gap between the rich and the poor in the future. Right now, it seems as though many economic policies and health interventions are not being applied everywhere in the world. This is just one way to show that there are many parts of the world that are languishing in poverty. Just think about the fact that in sub-Saharan Africa, for example, the GDP per capita is $2,000, while that in the US is $75,000. Something's got to give. With that in mind, there is every hope that AI would be the difference maker here. If all things go well, it may be able to increase the economic growth that some parts of the world desperately need. Hopefully, it may even help some parts of the world meet up with the others economically, thereby making the world a better place for us all. Peace and governance. Next up, we hope that AI will help the world achieve some sort of world peace. As this is something that we have been hoping for some time now, it must be crushing to look at the world as it is today, only to notice one international conflict or the other. If it isn't Russia taking on Ukraine, it is the constant battle for dominance in Israel. Let's not forget the many incidents of political unrest in many countries in Africa as well. With that in mind, we must be forced to accept that humans are still a threat to each other, at least according to the essay. It is hard to disagree with that, and as such we may be able to look to AI for solutions. Yes, there are risks, as the thought of AI-powered authoritarianism is something that is enough to frighten us all away. As such, we will have to be very careful when we make use of this technology to achieve such a goal. Work and meaning. Finally, we take a look at work and meaning. Looking at the situation as it is now, we can see that even if we are able to use AI to achieve the four other goals, it's fair to ask what would be the purpose of human life. At that point, everything will be working in order as they ought to thanks to AI, so how will humans find their purpose? If humans don't need to work, how will we survive economically? To Amodei, this question is more difficult to others because it refers to a macroscopic question about how societies are organized that tend to resolve themselves only over time and in a decentralized manner. He then used the example of how hunter-gatherers would have struggled to find a purpose without hunting. Although we may not be able to make a clear prediction per se, that may just be an existential problem that we may need to resolve soon, especially as Amodei believes that there is a good chance that we may be able to achieve AGI as soon as 2026. With such an exciting future in mind, we hope that we do see a world in which human lives are positively impacted by AGI.